Vardhan Babu, are you? I hope you are not underwater now.
अगाथा क्रिस्टी जब हम लोग पढ़ते थे तो
Yeah.
उसमें मिस मैपल सो शी वुड रिलेट एवरी मर्डर मिस्ट्री और एवरी क्राइम सीन टू हर नेबरहुड.
And I also don't know. लेकिन कल तो उसको चलना पड़ेगा. So I am trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita.
Dr. Manisha Pandey spoke about Agatha Christie during an icebreaker chat yesterday. Today, she is going to be talking about her book on a relevant topic, breast cancer. Namaste, a warm welcome to this episode of the show. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all our viewers from India and from across the globe. So today's episode is special in a way. Today we once again we have a practicing doctor, medical professional. Before I introduce you to the guest of the evening, let me introduce to you the moderator of the evening. You all know him, but still, it's my responsibility to be introducing Vardhan Dharkar to you. Vardhan is a science graduate and chartered accountant with over 30 years of experience in leadership roles at various Indian multinational companies. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he decided to leave the corporate world to pursue his passions. Currently, he is learning Sanskrit and studying the Bhagavad Gita, driven by a deep interest in India's spiritual heritage. He has authored blogs on various Indian festivals, highlighting their relevance in modern times. In fact, I have been after his life that he should once again start writing his blogs, and now he should cover the unknown places in and around Mumbai. So I hope he takes me seriously at least this one time. Like I had to take him very seriously when he was in the corporate world and he was the CFO, and he would tell me that he would not give me funds to spend, and he should start writing. So, besides his scholarly pursuits, he is an avid photographer and enjoys cooking. He aspires to write about India's spiritual heritage in the near future. So, that is Vardhan Dharkar for you. Now, let me bring the spotlight on the guest of the evening. That is Dr. Manisha Pandey for you. A very quick introduction. Dr. Manisha Pandey is the Senior Consultant Gynecologist and Chief Medical Officer in a government organization. She has been working for the promotion of women's health for more than 30 years. Her special areas of interest are adolescent health, prevention of gynecological cancers, healthy pregnancy, lifestyle modifications for health promotion, and mental health. Appalled by the bleak prognosis of advanced breast cancer patients, which she encountered in her practice, and the growing numbers, she has been conducting breast cancer awareness and screening programs for more than a decade. To reach a larger number of women, she has written the book 9 Lives and Many More, Being Breast Aware. Very highly commendable. It's a very, very relevant topic, Manisha. So she brings to light pertinent and relevant issues with the help of 9 short stories inspired by real life cases written in simple English. Each story is accompanied by breast cancer facts and guidelines, do's and don'ts, and medical facts. Welcome to the show, Dr. Manisha Pandey. So now let me move out of the frame. I'll only be obstructing them. And let me hand over the proceedings to Vardhan and Manisha Pandey.
Namaste to all our viewers in Bharat, that is India, and outside of India. Welcome to the show in this month of India's independence. And we are indeed honored and privileged to have Dr. Manish Gupta on our show today. Welcome, Dr. Manisha Gupta.
Manisha Pandey.
Manisha Pandey. So I'm very sorry, Manisha Pandey, to the show. And as Sanjay has explained or described, she is indeed a senior professional in gynecology, and her deep passion for social consciousness and spreading awareness about breast cancer is something which is really commendable and something which all of us should admire. So, welcome, Dr. Manisha, to the show.
Namaskar to everyone, and thank you so much, Vardhan ji, for having me here, Sanjay ji, for such a beautiful introduction. And I'm really looking forward to our, conversation here, which is, I must tell the viewers, which has not been planned in advance.
Yes, indeed. It is not yet not planned, and it is something which is free flowing discussion that we will have and exchange our views and understand you that much better. So, Dr. Manisha, you are passionate about spreading awareness of about breast cancer in the Indian society. May I ask you why you feel so strongly about this one particular subject?
Vardhan ji, number one, I'm a woman myself. I think that's self-explanatory. So it's not really about breast cancer. I would say it's about women empowerment. We talk and talk and talk about women empowerment, but I feel it's mostly a cosmetic thing. And I believe motivating women to take care of themselves is their true empowerment. And right now, as the country is fighting with non-communicable diseases, breast cancer is the number one killer cancer of women. And then the very fact that I'm sitting before you, I owe it to my mother, who dreamt of me becoming a gynecologist the day I was born. I mean, the day I was born, she was so impressed with the gynae. She said, my girl has to be a gynecologist and she has to take care of women. And then I lost her when she was barely 47, 48 to breast cancer. So that was motivation unto always a motivation for me. And just I was taking care of women as she had taught me. Every patient that comes to you is not just a patient, is a woman. You could have your mother or your aunt in those shoes. Consider them that. So I had that extra sensitivity. Maybe I developed an extra sense towards these women. And I kept looking after patients. And yes, then I realized it is, yes, we are getting more resources in the country. Technology is here. Everything is here. Awareness is visible. So I took it as my mission so that no more lives are lost to this cancer.
Okay. I think that's very important and very relevant topic that you have chosen. Now, if you look in today, do you think that today the awareness is more than what it used to be, let's say 10 or 20 years back, or we today also continue to neglect this particular area?
This is an irony. I mean, we are flooded with information. There is information overload, you would agree. The internet and everything, everybody has the mobile in their hand with unlimited data, and everybody seems to be very knowledgeable, giving you the statistics at the click of a finger. That's happening. Unfortunately, with this information overload, people, I feel they don't know what they're looking for. They've lost the perspective. Because I come across educated women, corporates, professionals, sometimes even doctors who are not aware about the basic facts of breast cancer. This cancer is one, as I said, this is the number one killer cancer of women nowadays. I'll talk in this against this background. It is the number one killer. And if detected early, at least we can save lives. It's not like cervical cancer is another one. I campaign for that too. That is a totally preventable cancer. This is not totally preventable, but we have a lot of control over it. At least we have to modify our lifestyle, which is the cause, faulty lifestyle, which is the cause of most of the non-communicable diseases, including cancers. So what are we doing about that? We are doing, or we are following diets. It's so deceptive. The next generation, Gen Z, and not only that, people in our age group, they seem to be very knowledgeable. They will talk about healthy nutrition and everything, but at the end, they land up being manipulated by the media and media, as well as the project people who have these products. They market it and they get manipulated by that. So, for example, you take packaged diet, maybe diet poha. Is this actually equivalent to the poha that you have at home? Nobody stops to think about that. Same applies to disease awareness. You keep talking about the fancy words, the fads, keep talking about that, but we don't go back to the root of what can prevent these diseases. So the two pillars, I would say, of breast cancer, preventing deaths because of breast cancer are, number one is adopting a healthy lifestyle, and number two, I would say, is early detection. So what are we doing about early detection? We tend to forget that. So at one time, or at one end, we are talking about a healthy diet, and then we are consuming packaged food, which is supposed to be carcinogenic. Any quick fix always hampers you. The packaged food or whatever you do in 2 minutes or 1 minute is going to harm you. It cannot replace the natural food. Basic, I would say, tenet of healthy nutrition is overlooked. So, yes, we are knowledgeable, but we are flooded with knowledge, missing those. And as I said, early detection can save cancer. And how do you detect it early? As I keep saying, cancer comes like a thief, choro ki tarah aata hai. There is no pain, there is no warning bell, nothing. So you have to be extra aware about it. So we have to teach our girls. I've written that in my book, but can you even think that a 12-year-old girl having breast cancer?
Oh.
16, yes. So in the book I've written about 20 years, 16-year-old girl. But then after that, I wrote this book in 2023. And after that, I have come to know of a 12-year-old girl having breast cancer. How many people know about this? And as I said, it is not going to blow trumpet. So what do we know? We have to get this awareness right from adolescence. The girl has to know, I have to be extra cautious. And what is that simple tool that I have in hand? It's not even expensive. It is just breast self-examination every day. And that is something we owe to ourselves. And that is what I say. We have to empower women to take care of themselves. When they start prioritizing and going to the root, not being driven by the market, not being driven by the media, that is when they will start taking care of themselves. That is when they'll start empowering themselves. And that is when we'll start saving lives. That drives me.
You talked about healthy lifestyle and healthy diet. Do you think meditation and yoga can play a role in that?
Absolutely. What is yoga? It just means you know it better than most of the people, I would say. I know you are a scholar into this. So what is yoga? It is being in sync with nature. And nature is not about the greenery of the sea or the mountains that we talk about. It is the natural food, the natural air. And how do you really understand, connect with nature? When you contemplate, you sit in silence, know yourself, know the nature around you, what the nature is giving you, and you are just neglecting that in your ignorance. That is what I would say, adopting a healthy and a natural lifestyle. So what are the three tenets, I would say, of healthy lifestyle, basically? And I tend to simplify things when I go with my awareness sessions, sensitizing the young girls. The three tenets that we have to remember, it is about the food, which has to be natural, the exercise, the way we were meant to do. It's not about going to the gym for 2 days, overexerting, and then, lazing around or binging at the weekend. It's about a regular, the way we were supposed to do. And third is taking care of our mind. Because again, it is being reinvented that it is the mind which drives all of your functions. It's not about the scholastic achievements. It's about my body, my diseases, the way, the relationships, and the whole society. So we take care of these three, and the nature will take care of us. So this is yoga. This is yoga.
Yeah, I think you explained it well. So if we have to act on this, we have to prevent spread of this, then what is it that we as individuals, society and government should do?
Vardhanji, again, it boils down to awareness. Today, we are in a very good position. Government has got very good programs. There are lots of incentives. We have the means. As you know, I don't understand the words GDP, etc., but I know we are in a very good position as compared to we have the knowledge at the tip of fingers, we can afford to live. What is lacking is awareness. Government has got very good programs, so even the poor can go and have access to those. The only thing that is missing, the last link, the connecting link, is the awareness. So first I need to know what I need about the healthy lifestyle. So that is, the government has already provided the programs. They have a chain of awareness, but somehow they are falling short of the population that we have. We don't have the last mile connectivity. So I feel the onus is on people like us, the NGOs, the people who are passionate about, women empowerment. Or breast cancer is not about women alone. You must have read the book. It's not about women alone. It's a collective thing. When we lose a woman to breast cancer, it's the entire family. Not only the entire family, I would say the next generation. I know it's about the girls who lose their mothers, which is a preventable thing. So this is, it's about the whole family. So the awareness has to be the whole family has to be aware. So the society, together, we should focus on creating awareness. And I think then people actually know where to access those facilities. And then again, it's a choice between, I would not name a brand, but I would say about the packaged food and the food that we can eat, the green veggies. We have to stop thinking of our food in terms of the quick fixes, the moving cookery. It has to be about what protein am I taking? Does it have preservative? Does it have vitamins? Is it green or not? And that is amounting to healthy lifestyle. And I just mentioned about the exercise. It has to be regular. It has to be consistent. And exercise also has two aspects. When we do exercise, we have to think about our body parts. Everybody's about cardio, gymming, making the muscles. But what about my neck muscles? People who are sedentary, corporates. I think the most common physical ailment, which is not dangerous to life, but quite debilitating, is the spinal axis. Cervical spondylitis, lumbar, it's all about the spine. And that is axis, the pillar of my body. So what do I need to do? It has to be the stretching exercises as well. Think of my arm, think of my spine. So consistently, that is healthy lifestyle. It's not about gymming in spurts. And then third is, yes, we have to learn. And all these good habits have to be inculcated right from adolescence, from the childhood. And then it has only then, we don't have to tell an adult person of any strata, of any socioeconomic status to brush their teeth. Because we were taught since childhood, you get up in the morning, you have to brush your teeth. And the more educated, you have to brush in the night. So everybody knows this. There are no questions. You don't have to think about it. The same way, we have to inculcate these healthy habits. And very beautifully you said it's all about yoga. So right from the childhood, so people will take care. And that will take care of the whole spectrum of diseases.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining it in such a nice fashion. And I'm sure that those who are listening to this episode will definitely take at least first step so that they will be saved from this disease. So coming to
Next generation, that is more important.
yes, absolutely true. So coming to your book, being breast aware and many nine lives and many more, how did this idea of writing a book come to your mind, and particularly with a theme of breast cancer and related issues?
But Vijay, actually, as I said, I like to think of myself as a compassionate gynecologist who looks beyond the complaints that the woman is talking about. I work on mental health as well, and that was something, and I acquired that degree later on because, as I said, it was beyond the complaints the woman is talking about. So and breast cancer is something, it's a personal mission of mine. So for years I've been earlier I was holding session for women. And then approximately, I would say 9, 10 years back, I realized I was posted in Delhi at that time. So I realized when these 16-year-old, 20-year-old girls, they are afflicted, I started taking sessions for secondary school girls, government schools, 11th and 12th standard, and I would teach them breast self-examination with the same premise. The way you brush your teeth, you have to do it every month. It just takes 3 fingers and 3 minutes. This is what I used to do. So I was doing that, and I'm more of a talker. I think you'll realize that, and I don't have patience. So I used to take sessions, and somehow I would connect with people. And every now and then someone would come up, "Ma'am, you speak so well. You're a storyteller. Why don't you do this?" And with all these things coming up, why don't you write a book on this? And I would say, "See, I don't have patience. I can't do this. So I can't do this," was my thing, and I can keep talking. So, and then COVID came. It has been a life turner for many of us. So, doctors, were very busy throughout, so I didn't have time. But if you read my books, two of my stories have COVID as the background. And I must tell all my viewers, all these stories are true stories. Names change, a little tweak here or there, but they're all true stories. So two of my stories were scenarios were based during COVID times. So it would go on, and I was living in isolation in my hospital premises, and I used to think about what can I do for women? They're enforced in their homes, and then this webinar thing came up, and I used to take webinars, and then again somebody told me, and I was on a brief sabbatical for some time with my daughter, and my husband, he's like, he was posted in a border area, and the women were in a pathetic state there. I mean, nobody cares about their health. And then I started writing. Somebody told me, and again, thanking books. We have always read books, but I was introduced to Kindle. And then, and again, you will realize this. I think you will connect with me here. You write on papers, and then you forget you're not carrying your papers with you. And then I came across this wonderful Google Workspace, and so I could pick up my laptop anywhere. I'm in a flight, and I can start, write something. So slowly and slowly, I wrote, and then I had friends along the way who guided me. They said, "Ma'am, you talk to these limited number of people through webinar, again, whosoever is connecting, but you need to go out." And then, Vardhanji, there was one more thing. Then I did my research, and I found that most of the books globally are about cancer survivors. Either they are about cancer survivors or the medical books that we read, or these so many YouTubes and media thing we can cure through yoga. As I say, I'm a big proponent of yoga, but I also know that it has to be detected through self-examination, and it needs chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and immunotherapy. That was just an example. So I would come across these YouTube videos, and I would say, "Oh my God, what are people learning? I need to go out to more people." So I can proudly say this is one of the first book on breast cancer. I'm not talking only about India, it's otherwise also, which talks about the preventive aspects. Very simple tips which every woman and man needs to know. Man, because it's the men who, take their women to the doctors. So in the patriarchal society like ours, and then I would use these case scenarios because women have to identify with the case scenarios. Otherwise, you are scared of the cancer word. So I would use these stories. Then, accordingly, very simple tips which every family should have their girls and also boys learn about. Nothing medical, and actually, all of this is medical and scientifically proven, but very simple, which everyone can follow. This is how I wrote my book. Um, and one more thing I have to tell you, see, this book went out in other countries also because I did it on Amazon. So yes, it was available in US as well. And my counterparts, the as women, my friends who are in US, who are in Europe, even they were not aware about this breast self-examination. We tend to think, and this is the cancer which is the most common cancer worldwide. Indian survival is number one. Now we are number one because of the party lifestyle. But people were not aware. It's not proportional to the qualifications you have or howsoever knowledgeable you are. The basic thing is missing. So when I say a woman in the world is dying right now, as we are talking, every woman is dying of breast cancer.
Oh.
Deaths can be avoided by early detection. How and by adopting healthy lifestyle, we can prevent. So where does this come from? Being breast aware. This is what my mission is.
Very thought-provoking and very touching the way you have explained it. And in fact, my next question you have partially answered is that I wanted to know how was that book received by the readers, by the medical fraternity, and by general public.
That is again a good one. People who have read this book, they love me, they thank me, and I have had many new people coming up, people calling me up for women. You know, one of them, I can say, ISRO scientist, landing a cancer detected accidentally at the age of 54. And I'm saying at the age of 40, you have to go for annual health checkups. So that is something. And yes, I get to speak to more people. Many people come up. Even so one girl whom I have known for years, and she lives in US. She called me up for her breast problem, and I insist. And as I mentioned in my book, I described in one of my scenarios. There are women who don't have a malignant, a cancerous lesion, but they keep worrying about it. So this turned out to be a cancer. I said, why do you keep worrying about it? Go ahead with the test. So this was something I would say that makes me happy. And then comes the market aspect. So being a doctor, being a first-time author, not so good at marketing. So I haven't sold that many copies, very frankly speaking, because yes, that is somewhere. But otherwise, and then I have come across nice people like you, Sanjay ji, who want to know and who want to propagate the awareness thing. So for me, it was again the Gita, Karmanyavadi because I was motivated by people. I wanted this message to go out and done my job. And I hope even if it saves one or two lives, a woman reads my books, does her examination, and I already have 2 to 3 people who have called me up regarding this. 2 of them had cancers, another did not. So I feel happy about that. But I don't really know this. ये जो असली किताबें हैं, they're not going around. I mean, we go for quick fixes all the time. the way we talk about parenting and this, I mean, these are the things which should be propagated. So I'm still looking forward to some people who can spread the message. And I would say, as I said proudly, this is one of the first preventive books, very simple English, very precise.
Okay. So I'm very sure. I hope that after watching this episode, people would be motivated. A, first to read the book, and then B, start taking the preventive action that you have talked about, and that will be the real success of today's episode. Doctor, may I request you to read one passage from the book?
Okay. I have my book with me. I kept it here. Yes, I will. Actually, finding a passage, I would like to read the opening poem, A Breast Cancer Journey, which I must clarify has not been written by me. It's a poem by Velvet Carey, but which was again one of the instigator. I was reading this poem one day, and that made me actually sit down and write the book. So I would recite these lines by Velvet Carey. And this poem is at the beginning of my book.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes, I see the pain. Slowly, the tears roll down. They won't refrain. The day I found out, the day I broke, the day you got diagnosed. I look down to the floor as if I'm hiding, as I whispered, Mom, keep fighting, keep fighting. As I reach for your hand, so strong, yet so weak, I notice the paleness in it. Our lives change so quickly. It all happened in the blink of an eye. One day you were fine and healthy. The next, I wish the cancer was alive. I know ups and downs are normal, just like a roller coaster ride. Remember, no matter how you feel, I'll always be by your side. Mummy, I love you more than the moon and back. You are amazing for coming through this. I know you don't feel like you, but you've got us too. So I could not stop my tears when I read this book. And I was thinking of my mother. In this poem, the woman comes back. The life after cancer, for the cancer survivor, is very, very difficult, especially in the society that we live in. But then having them around is even more important. Even if with broken wings, we have to be their wings. The society has to stand with them. But even those, the ones we love with broken wings, are better off than not having anyone with you. So, I know breast cancer can't be completely avoided, but it can be detected early to ensure a complete cure and not lose the women we love. For once we lose a woman of the family, the whole family is broken. The broken shards of the glass can be felt in the next generation, even. And that is so, so important. So this is all about preventing.
Very sensitive and very touchy, and the way you have explained is truly impressive. So my last question is, what is your future plan? Are you planning to write another book with this theme itself, or maybe if you can explain, that will be helpful.
Motivating women to take care of themselves is their true empowerment. So I'll keep motivating them, keep empowering them. Vardhan, I have two daughters. They are doctors, but they are daughters and they are women, and they and their grandmother have breast cancer. So it's something very personal. So it's about breast cancer. Right now I'm in the process of getting this, writing a Hindi version. And I don't use tools here. I write in my own language, the way I interact with women. So it is taking time. I'm planning to come out with a Hindi version of this so that more Indian women can avail of this. Then I am writing a book on cervical cancer prevention. That is again one of the cancers which is totally preventable. Imagine a cancer totally preventable, and today, this very day, in 2024, 8 women, out of every 8 women, one is still having cervical cancer. Imagine. So this is our level of awareness. Then mental health. Yes, I'm planning to. Then I have interest in scriptures. Maybe I'll analyze our practices, age-old practices in context of women health today. And the funny thing is, I find my women in the Mahabharata or Ramayana era to be equally, if not more, empowered than the women today. Empowerment is not about driving cars or, flying airplanes. So I find them equivalent, if not more. So I want to do that also, but it's like, when do I get the time? So I'm planning to. I have. This will continue.
Perfect. I think it was indeed a pleasure and honor to speak with you. And I am very sure with this today's episode, the viewers would be compelled and they would take action. And that will be the success of this episode. Now, with this, I hand over the control to Sanjay and wish you all the best in all your future endeavors.
So thank you so much, Manisha. Thank you so much, Vardhan. It was indeed a very, very relevant topic and explained with so much of sensitivity. I'll be sharing today's episode on my YouTube channel as well as on my other social media handles, tagging you, Manisha, and tagging you, Vardhan, wherever you are there. And I do hope that many women would come forward and benefit by what you have told about breast cancer. And we are certainly looking forward to your other books on other such similar medical conditions that are actually affecting many of us in our daily lives today. So thank you once again, both of you. Thank you, viewers. And looking forward to have you once again on our episode on the show sometime in future. It was really wonderful having you with us. Thank you and bye-bye. Namaste.